It's thank you, Mother Box. Once again, from a secret, undisclosed location, hidden somewhere deep in the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, comes, in the Library of Graphic Literature, the Kitchen Edition, with your host, me, Wallace Rye. How's everyone going there? It was a little bit, well, not cold out, but it wasn't pleasant, and I'd spent most of the afternoon here at home, and in the kitchen, and cooking and all that, and I figured, hey, why not for a change shoot an episode from here? And I just finished cooking up some curry and stuff like that, and I figured, hey, why not? Let's go for it. So, that being said, let me see what I have here. Oh no, I have it over here. I do have this here. I've got a few books here for this week. Some good stuff, some great stuff, and some interesting stuff. So, without further ado, let's do it. Okay, first of all, now what do we have here? First of all, from Harper Perrenial comes something called Everything is an Emergency, an OCD story in words and pictures. It just looked, when I seen it, it was just like, yeah, I have to, I have to get this because it sounded so cool. Plus, you know, it was about OCD, so of course I had to have it. And but yeah, I read about it and it seemed really interesting, so I figured, yeah, why not give it a break? Now it's almost more like an illustrated book. There's some cartoons in it, stuff. It's like a collection of cartoons / prose book type of thing, but you know, it's close enough. It's close enough. But yeah, figured, you know, sounds interesting, so let's give it a try. So it's by Jason Adam Katzenstein. Oh, well, gotta try to pronounce this properly. And yeah, it doesn't look too bad, so check it out. I'll show you up close a few of the pages and stuff like that. So there's some cartoon stuff there. So yeah, it's graphic literature, right? That's what I like to think of it as. Pretty cool, eh? Yeah, not bad at all. So yeah, we'll throw that into the stack here. Oh, by the way, you'll notice, of course, my Captain America by Steranko and the Spider-Man thing there. Actually, I got both of those from my good pal Dennis Osborne, who I do the Thursday Comics podcast with, which of course we'll be doing another one this week, and should be fun. We talked about several subjects, but not quite. We haven't sort of fleshed it out, but there's talk of some Conan material, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Anyway. Speaking, and actually this week too, I don't know if you've noticed that Gary Larson has come out with a couple of new cartoons, and which is really cool. Since 25 years since we've had any great stuff from him. So yeah, they're 3 sick little cartoons, but still pretty good. And in that vein, I present to you the 25th anniversary collection of, funny enough, Speed Bump, by Dave Coverley from IDW, and it looks pretty cool. Actually, I've flipped through them, and they're all, like I say, one-panel cartoons, which I'm a big fan of the one-panel cartoon anyway myself, from be it Cliben, Sam Gross, Gary Larson. Even the original Dennis the Menace, when it was a one-panel cartoon, I liked. And as a kid growing up, I actually like comic strips, and so I'm a bit of a dinosaur that way. But funny enough, comic strips have still survived in a strange format because they do sort of fit the television, the monitor screen of computers, so they still do get out there. Not only that, but myself and my friend, when we first started creating art and doing comic books or comic characters, they were like usually for school newspapers, so you had to do comic strips, so that's how we got into them. But yeah, I'll just show you a few of these. I don't want to show you too many because obviously I don't want to ruin the whole book, but yeah, there are some good ones in here, but check them out anyway. This is a little sample here of what you can expect. Before we end this debate, you have 30 seconds to sniff each other's rebuttal. So yeah, they're kind of fun little things. But nicely done little cartoons too. This one, and the single panel cartoon in some ways is a lot more difficult, I think, than doing a full page story or even a comic book, because with the single panel cartoon, you got to get in, make your point, and get out all in one panel. And that takes a lot of damn skill. I was never good at it myself. I work better in a long format, that type of thing, in terms of comic strips, comic pages, comic stories type of approach. But I really do respect people who do have mastered the single panel cartoon. Like I say, people like Clive, and especially I was a huge fan of his. And as I mentioned, Gahan Wilson, another great one-panel cartoonist. And I actually got to meet Sam Gross when I was did a nighttime school class at School of Visual Arts in New York City, and he was our guest. And yeah, interesting guy. But back to this Speed Bump 25th Anniversary Collection, cartoons by Dave Coverley, forward by Nick Galifianakis. I always have problems. Sorry, Nick, if I butchered your name there, but you know. Oh, hang on a second. Damn bugs. Okay. Moving right along here. Have this. I do have my tea here with me though. So yeah, I cooked up some curry there this afternoon. It was pretty delicious, and took some phone calls, yada yada yada, and it was just like, oh my god, time to do the show. And then it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna try it in the kitchen. Next week, hopefully, if it's really nice out, like I say, I want to get out and get next to the ocean. So hopefully, if the weather's nice next week, I think as a matter of fact, if it means even delaying it for a day, if it's like a lousy Friday, but it's going to be a nice Saturday, I will actually, I'll even delay the show just to show you a little bit of the city here. Oh, look, get it off. Anyway, volume 2 of which I have been waiting on desperately, of the Immortal Hulk. Hulk, man. Hulk, take revenge. I've been loving this series. I don't know how many of you out there have been reading the Immortal Hulk, but what a great series. I can remember right from the start when I read the very first one off the stands. It was just like, oh my god, someone's finally doing Hulk the way Hulk should be done. I was a big Hulk fan from way back in the 70s. It was funny enough, it was the issue, the number escapes me now, but it was the one with the Bernie Wrightson cover, and he's fighting the Man-Thing and that. And it was around the time that Sal Buscema had just taken over, and he was drawing it with Joe Stanton. And God, I love those issues. Beautiful art, stories were great, really enjoyed it. So I remained a Hulk fan, and you know, I love, of course, some of the older stuff, especially the Trimp and Severin stuff. Absolutely gorgeous things, artwork. And even up to modern day, like I say, Immortal Hulk, but before this, there was War Hulk or the Bruce Jones run on Hulk, the Return of the Monster or whatever. Anyway, Bruce Jones is Hulk. Great stuff, great stuff. And this, of course, this carries on that great tradition. So Al Ewing, way to go. And this has art, Joe Bennett, and Paul Mounts does the coloring, I do believe, yeah. Penciler Joe Bennett, Roy Jose with Belladino Bravo, Rafael Fonterez, and Mark Deering as inkers, and Eric Nagoyne, flashback artists. But yeah, absolutely incredible. I love it. Oh, you want to see some of it? Okay. Let me read it first. But this is one book I'm going to have this read this weekend, if at all possible. What lurks inside the mind of the Hulk? Who only knows, hey? Okay, here we go. But yeah, amazing. Amazing. Hope you're gonna look at all this there. I don't want to show you too much to, just accidentally give away the whole story. But yeah, there's the boys have been doing one heck of a job on it, and now this goes up to issue 20. I thought I heard somewhere that he's going up to issue 50. Which would be a sheer tragedy to see him leave it. But I mean, I've been loving this, and like I say in life, it's the things that don't last forever that are so sweet, aren't they? So anyway, yeah, that one looks good. Okay, so yeah, I'm like I say, I'm out here in the kitchen. I'm relying mainly on the light from my window here. I look out at that park where I can see that park. As a matter of fact, I can almost see the bench when I angle it back here that I was sitting at there. Across the street are my good neighbors, Jeff and Allison, and they've lived there for many, many years. And my brother actually lives 2 doors behind me. Two doors behind me, essentially. And my sister's business is then behind that, so it's kind of cool. It's like the Rhine compound here. Now, let's get on to the next thing. Oh yeah, and this week was supposed to be the first shot at the DC books, but there seems to be a lot of confusion, and that there are people having to order week by week, and it just seems like a hot mess. It's just like, for God's sake, DC, move back to Diamond and just end all the drama, alright? And next is a reorder. It's still fairly new, and it was a book that someone asked me on the group about, and which I'm glad, because I don't know how this slipped by me, but it's a book called Paramus, The City and Oblivion. Doom, 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 doom. This is by the Argentinian artist Alberto Breccia, written by Juan Sasturain, and I'm probably butchering these names. Well, second name anyway. But of course, Brescia is very well known. He's Argentinian artist, I do believe, originally from Uruguay, I do believe. His son is also a famous cartoonist. But this once again, a lovely addition. I gotta say, the Fantagraphics really does a nice job at printing books. It's a nice heft too. It's a nice weight here too. This is the cover, the spine, and here we are on the back of it. And as it says here, created under Argentina's brutal military dictatorship, Paramus is an act of resistance in and of itself. Oh yeah, I can imagine writing comics underneath a military dictatorship. Well, geez, they murdered what was his name, Osterheld or whatever. But yeah, and usually us cartoonists are the first they come from. This says here, when a political dissident forsakes his memory and his identity, he's called Paramus after the label in his raincoat. During his darkly absurdist travels, he teams up with gruff Cannellones, a foreign aviator dubbed the Enemy, and a fictionalized Borgia who comes to be their guide. His motley crew journeys to outlandish locales where they encounter characters such as a director of trailers for films that will never exist, a guerrilla force of circus folk, a tin pot dictator with a vast fortune built on an empire of excrement. I mean, come on. You know already that you want to read this. But yeah, this is what I love too about going on the borders of North America when it comes to reading comics. When I was a kid, of course, I was first exposed to comics beyond my borders through heavy metal and that, and as the years progressed, I'd start to read more and more comics here and there, and it's great because there is a lot of great comics out there. Also exposed through the Filipino invasion of the 70s, people like Alex Nino, still love him, and the Redondos and people like that, and then the Spanish and that through airy and creepy magazines and all that. It was neat. It really, to me, it really rounded out my my art education when it came to comics. So yeah, whenever you can, go a bit abroad when it comes to comics and have a look. And this one thing I like about this group, actually, I've come across a lot of and had a lot of recommendations made to me from people from different countries and all that tell me about comics that are popular in their country and stuff like that, and it's brought me nothing but joy, and I hope to bring that joy to you folks there. That being said, let's have a close-in look. Let me move this chair out of the way. Close-in look here at the work of Alberto Breccia. It's really, really cool black and white stuff. This looks slightly different from some of the other stuff I've seen by him. Check that out. It really does almost have an eerie or creepy feel to it too. I'm going slow and showing you a lot of this just because, well, see if I can get some people out there interested in some comics from beyond North America. But yeah, give it a shot. Looking good. But yeah, definitely Paramus. Definitely worth getting. Okay, now, last but not least, and I've been dying to open this. I was going to open it last night, but then it was just like, no, I got to leave this for the show. Speaking of black and white, this week comes Volume 3 of The Savage Sword of Conan the Barbarian. Dun 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 dun. Of course, Savage Sword. Already sort of half ripped open here. Savage Sword, the magazine, sister magazine, to go along with Conan the Barbarian comic book series from Marvel Comics in the 70s. And I used to actually buy I bought Conan the Barbarian, but I also bought Savage Sword because it was kind of like, to me it was kind of like Conan Unleashed. It was Conan meant for, almost for an older audience. And even just looking at this cover here, had it. Jeez, I think I had every single one of these here. Yeah, just even looking at it here. A lot of great artists here. Frank Brunner, I do believe, does one of these. It's a lot by Ernie Chan, or Ernie Chua as he used to be known. let's see, pencil out. John Buscema, Sal Buscema with, Frank Brunner, yeah. Gene Colan, Carmine Infantino, Bruce Patterson, Dave Wenzel, Carl Potts, Steve Swetson, Ron Wilson, Don Metz. Of course, I love the John Buscema, looking forward to that. But the Frank Brunner and Gene Colan issues, too, were personal favorites of mine. Inkers, of course, Tony DeZuniga, Dick Cordana, Michael Netzer, Russ Heath, Bruce Patterson, Ralph Reese, Duffy Volin, Frank Brunner himself, Steve Leola. It's like a who's who of comic book inkers, all of who are actually great artists too in their own right. Alfredo El Cala, Pablo Marcos, Al Gordon, Joseph Rubinstein, and Rudy Nebrez. Always loved Rudy Nebrez. And then some illustrators, I guess these are single pieces. Ernie Chan with, this is here, Gil Kane, Kayla Valmerick, Jess Jonderman, who I love his stuff, John Romita Jr., Rick Hoberg, Marshall Rogers, Steve Leola, Tom Keats. So yeah, a great smattering throughout this here. Oh, here we go. And this is the Scarlet Citadel. This was the Frank Brunner one. I still am a huge fan of Frank Brunner, and this story here was bloody amazing. But yeah, this is the one thing, like I say once again, that I loved about the Savage Sword of Conan. Amazing art, great stories. There's the Gene Colan one. I don't know who did if he inked it himself too. Oh no, this was inked by Pablo Marcos, that's right. I've seen actually panels from this, but yeah. And actually it was an interesting combination, Marcos and him. And then back to Carmine Infantino and Alfredo Akela. Akela was very overpowering when it came to inking people, so a lot of times he would really make it his own. Some more Akela. Loved Akela's work. I mean, that man could operate a brush. Oh, and here's the color special that they put out, which was kind of neat. And Rudy Nebrez working it there. John Buscema, Tony DeZuniga. But yeah, for you Conan fans, another absolute treat. I mean, come on, how can you not love this book? I'm still in the middle of rereading some of the earlier ones, but I will catch up. Now, of course, a lot of this I read when I was younger, but this I will reread just to get a feel for it. Well, let's get this up into the camera there. See, very nice. Love that cover. Legions of the Dead. But yeah, great books. And I knew as soon as I'd heard that that DC, not DC, that Marvel had reacquired the rights to Conan, that we would be seeing the Savage Sword in an omnibus. And it's funny because even when Dark Horse was putting them out in the soft cover, it was just like, no. I knew sooner or later Dark Horse or someone was going to do it. But as soon as Marvel got the license back, it's just like, oh yeah, they're going to do it. And sure enough, they came out with the omnibus for the Conan the Barbarian color series, and I knew as soon as I seen that wouldn't be long until we'd see the Savage Sword. I'm kind of curious now if they go all the way. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I would be delighted. Anyway, that's it for this week. Check out next week, of course, our Thursday Comics podcast, available on Spotify and iTunes. Thursday Comics. It's kind of like this, but with someone else, Dennis, my good buddy, and a little bit of swearing. As you noticed, I rarely swear, or actually I don't think I've ever sworn on this show. And you know, it's a whole different side of me you see or you hear, to be quite honest on that. I really let loose. I save all of the anger for that. and this show basically is all about my love for comics. That's why I only, like some people say, you haven't covered this book or you haven't covered that book. Well, I only really cover books in this that I like. Same thing in the Library of Graphic Literature group on Facebook. The only rule is you just talk about the comics you like. Because there's enough groups out there where you can complain and moan about the comics you hate. I want to see what you like. That being said, there's also a brand new In the Library of Graphic Literature Facebook page. And I started that so I could actually do some live episodes too and talk with you in real time and get some neat, give and take going on there. But yeah, for now I'm just posting all the older shows. I'm up to 65, I think, episode 65. So check those out. Some really neat old ones there. Can't believe it's been 2 years. Anyway, that being said, thanks for having me over. Now, where's that mother box? Okay, mother box, take me out. Okay, love you folks. Peace of comics.